Hi, my name is Mark Polton. I'm a real estate investor in the greater Charlotte area of North Carolina. I consider myself the no frills, no thrills real estate investor. Currently have 11 properties, 12th on the way. We're waiting on some deeds to come in. Slow process, often in the way that we purchase homes. Wanted to share my thoughts on the road to success. Seems like everybody wants instant gratification, right? We have instant noodles, takes a couple minutes to make. Go to McDonald's, you can get an instant meal in just a few minutes waiting in the drive-through. You want to see what somebody's doing, you can get on their, Facegram or Instabook. That's what I tell my kids. They hate it. Find out what they're doing. You wanted to talk to somebody, you just pick up your phone. When I was growing up, if you want to talk to somebody, you had to go home, get on the phone, call them, and hopefully they were home. If not, you had to leave a message, assuming that they had that ability, and then they'd have to call you back, hoping that you're at home. So it's a little slow, in my opinion, or slower than most people want to get to success. So there's two books that I really like. One of them I listen to yearly. It's called The Slight Edge. I don't like to read books. I listen to them, and I don't typically listen to the entire book. The introduction by the author is fantastic, and it really puts me into perspective. The other one is The Tipping Point. I don't have the authors offhand, but let's start with the tipping point. And the tipping point basically says that you don't go into the gym, work out one day, and the next day you're as big as Arnold Schwarzenegger. It doesn't happen. On the same note, you don't eat an ice cream bar and become fat the next day. That these things in life are built very, very small. In fact, when you go to the gym and you work out, let's just say your chest, you're measuring gains in fractions of a millimeter. However, do that 100 times a year, and that's when you notice the difference, right? You're doing an activity. It's not going to make a difference today whether you do it. It's not going to make a difference today if you don't do it. However, the activity that you do a year later will have a measurable effect on you, right? So some examples: reading books. We're not talking fiction books and stuff like that. We're talking self-help books. Reading one book is probably not going to change your life. It could, but it's probably not going to. Read 30 every year. Within a couple of years, you're probably going to have profound changes in your life. Get up in the morning and write down your goals. You're not going to do that every morning. It's not going to make a difference one day. It's not going to make a difference in a week. In a year, probably make a huge difference. So success is measured in what I call baby steps. You know, when things aren't going as fast as I want them to, rather than being negative, I look back and I try to make it a positive. What did we accomplish today? And it may have been as simple as, one small thing. I got one tile. Well, baby steps are still steps. We're still going in the right direction. We're not retarding our advancement. We're going forward. It's going slow, but it's going forward. So baby steps are still steps. The other book, which is The Slight Edge, this was written by a guy who had an educational company. Fantastic book. And, he made all kinds of CDs and DVDs of education. It ranged from all over. And he had a network of people who sold them and stuff like that. And he would basically talk about the champions of the company, the ones who really bought into it, and they have access to all of this information for free. And he noticed that a lot of them, and actually the vast majority of them, didn't really make any measurable change in their life. And he's trying to figure out why. And he brings up a great point that, it's not enough to have information, right? Because if it was, we could go up to an alcoholic, hand him a CD, and say, "Congratulations, you're cured." But that's not the way it works. We can go to a drug addict and hand him a CD full of information, and be like, "Congratulations, you're cured." Um, we could go to a high school student with a 4-year education's worth of information, say, "Hey, read this. Congratulations, you're smart." Well, it's that's a topic for another day. Education and intelligence. he says what you need is a what he calls a processor. I don't particularly like that name. It's not conducive to me. I would say it's more like a motivator. You need something that's going to tie the information that you're receiving to your life in such that you will actually take that information and do something with it. Now, my big motivator was my wife left. I thought I was never going to see the kids again. Figured I would never have sex again. My life was over. Um, the typical wuss stuff that I used to do. But I was receptive to change, and I hired some coaches and read a lot of books. And because I had this motivator of I need a different life than this painful life that I have now, I was able to take that information and transform myself into something better. So think about these topics. I spent a lot of time contemplating and pondering them, but I'm going to encourage you, get the tipping point and the slight edge. If you don't like to read like me, you can always get the audiobooks, which is what I do. You're in the car, you're on the toilet, you're doing yard work, your wife's yelling at you. Just stick on the earbuds and you could be learning. Anyways, hope you enjoyed my thoughts, and I hope you go out there and have success.